Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Zero Progression series. If you're new here, my name is Newt, and this is episode 6 of the series so far. If you've missed the first 5, however, and you want to get caught up, I've left the playlist in the top right hand corner for you to check out. First off, before we get started, I just want to take a quick second to thank you guys so much for all of the support that you've shown on my last couple of videos. And I'm so happy to hear that the combo guide is helping so many people to learn this amazing class. I've had a lot of people ask me for a burst guide, and don't worry, I have heard you. I do plan to make other guides on things like training, general bossing, and of course going over the burst rotation. Now, these videos may take a while, and I appreciate your patience, but I promise you they will be coming soon. Okay, so let's do a quick recap and get into this, shall we? On the last episode, we got to level 265. We also got our second mastery, along with Soul Janus, to make our training that much smoother. We also got our familiars done, so we can start the painful process of getting our fams done. And finally, we got our first KT, as well as our lucky hat, and we pushed it to 19 stars. Definitely with no hiccups at all whatsoever. After 11 booms and 13 billion meso, we finally have our 19-star lucky hat. And with all that out of the way, let's dive into today's episode. We start off today with some upgrades. After a long grind, it's finally time to get into our arcane set. First, we cubed our gloves, eventually landing on a crit damage with 10% all stats, which is a perfect settle for now. Next, we headed to the guild castle to star force the rest of our gear, getting the shoulder, shoe, and cape to 15 stars. After that, we headed to work on the potentials. We got the shoulder and cape to epic, and then took a quick second to throw all of the new gear on and test how much of a difference it would make at this point. So we slapped those babies on, and as you can see here, we ended up losing about 2 million combat power, which is to be expected at this point. We've definitely still got some more work to do. So we got back to cubing and got the shoe to legendary, hitting at 23%. Next we cubed the cape, getting that to unique and hitting a 3-line, giving us 24%, which is a perfect settle for now. Finally, we got the shoulder to legendary as well, landing at 23% on that too. After throwing our arcane gear back on to test our stats again, this time we noticed a slight gain in our combat power, giving us a small 600k boost. But this wasn't enough of a gain for us, so we hustled back to the guild castle to slap one more star on each piece. This boosted our combat power by 2 mil to 31 mil total. Now that is more like it. Finally, we can wear the arcane gear we've been holding on to for so long. With all of our new gains, we headed into Culvert to see how much of a difference the new gear would really make. and oh boy did it ever. We ended up finally crossing the 2k barrier, finishing with a 2070, which is a massive PB from our last score. The next day it was Sunny Sunday, which meant a 50% off inner ability event. We took the opportunity to reroll our inner and ended up landing a perfect 20% boss damage top line. Now this is really good, but not particularly what we were going for, so we decided to roll over it. And good thing we did, because literally 2 rolls later we hit exactly that, +1 attack speed. After that we threw the rest of our honor at our 3rd line and ended up landing a max roll epic abnormal status damage. So we decided to settle with that and save what little honor we had left for our farming preset. Okay, so let's take a quick second to talk about Zero's inner ability, because there's a lot of debate about what is best for this class. Zero has 3 inner abilities that are considered best in slot, these being +1 attack speed, 20% boss damage, or 20% cooldown skip. Now, attack speed is strictly a personal preference, as it technically doesn't add much, if any, damage to your rotation. That being said though, it does increase Beta's attack speed to reach the hard cap without the use of other skills. This causes Beta's combos to come out a bit faster and can lead to smoother comboing. However, a big issue with running attack speed is that when you are using time distortion or chrono break, this inner line becomes literally useless, because both of these skills provide attack speed, which allows Beta to hit the hard cap. Next up, we have boss damage. On paper, this is technically the best option, as it simply provides raw damage, which is always good. However, last but certainly not least, we have cooldown skip. CD skip is quickly becoming a favorite amongst the Zero community, and I've even heard some whispers that it might become the sole choice once we get 3rd and 4th mastery, but we'll have to see when that happens. Cooldown skip is really valuable for us as Zeros because we have many skills that it can reset, including time distortion, AB link, combo skills, but most importantly, Shadow Rain. Skipping the cooldown of Shadow Rain is like crack, because you can just keep bosses locked down for an insane amount of time, which will provide extra time for you to do damage as well as your party. And trust me, your party will love you when you can keep a boss locked down in one place for upwards of a minute straight in perfect conditions. Now, I chose to go with attack speed simply because with smoother comboing, I could learn the intricacies of the comboing without having to worry as much about being animation locked. However, I will probably be changing this at some point in the future. People will generally argue that one is better than the other, and they may be right, but I say just pick whatever you think is going to help your playstyle the most and run with that. This is a game after all, and you should play it in the way that is most fun for you. I love how this guy said take a quick second and then rambled on for like 3 straight minutes. Dude's such a yapper. Anyways, moving on, we used the rest of our honor to re-roll our farming preset and landed a 19% meso top line, which is perfect. And on our last roll, we landed a 9% boss line, which will absolutely be helpful for our farming. Now that we're done with our inner for now, it's time for some more upgrades. After landing our first black bean mark, we headed to the guild castle to star force it. We got it to 17 stars with little issue, and then threw the rest of our money at a couple of KTs. So we got both to 17 stars and headed back to our favorite cubing spot. Now since we have 2, we want to make one of them into farming gear and one of them into damage gear. We got the first KT to legendary, and while trying to roll for a meso with stat, we ended up hitting a 27% strength, which is a hell of a roll for our damage gear this early on. So obviously we kept that and re-rolled our farming KT later, just hitting a line of meso, nothing special. After that, we got the black beam mark to legendary and hit an 18%, and with dwindling funds and an event coming up, we decided to settle there. While we were at it though, we had some fams saved up, so we did a little familiar gambling.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
We ended up getting a unique and revealed it to find a large party heal. This was our second one so far, and would be super helpful in bosses like Will and Vihila. Unbeknownst to me, however, this would be the start of an insane trend with our familiars, but we'll have to find out more about that later. So we got back to the grind. I find grinding in this game so therapeutic, and it gives me time to process the things that are going on in my life. I don't know if any of you guys share that sentiment, but if you do, let me know down in the comments. The grind is such a special part of this game, and I love it so much. That being said though, with all the grinding, we eventually hit level 266, inching us ever closer to Odium, one of my favorite areas in the game. Another thing that came with the grind was, you guessed it, more familiars. This time we hit 3 uniques and an epic. Unfortunately, the first 2 uniques provided nothing of use, and on the final reveal, we hit another large party heal. Next, we went to hit up Gollix during our usual daily run, and I'm just gonna jump out ahead of this now. I know the fit is whack, guys. The Kapoo crossover event had just started, and I had hit a few pieces and just had to put this whack-ass fit together for the memes. But with that out of the way, let's move on. We absolutely rolled Gollix as usual, and today the big tree boy dropped us some earrings. So close to an event too. It was awesome to get it back up. Finally, it was time for our first real challenge of the series. It was time to take on Hard Lotus solo. We hyped ourselves up and dove in. It was a long fight, and we fought hard, but unfortunately Lotus ended up besting us, and we died out with only 3% left. After 3 practice attempts, and a real attempt, I was frustrated and defeated, so I went to take out my frustration on normal Damien. With the remastered Lotus coming out so soon before these attempts, it added an extra layer of challenge because I was still learning the new fight. Today Lotus had beat me, but I knew that I could do this. I woke up the next day with a fresh determination. I was getting this clear. I took a deep breath, focused up, and started the fight.
Intruder detected. Switching system to attack mode.
All of our upgrades, all of our booms, all of the time that we've spent learning this class, all of it has led us to this moment. This was our moment, and nothing was going to stop us from getting this clear. We made it through P1 with little incident. Managing our gauge nicely, we didn't even enter annihilation mode once. P2, however, was a bit more of a struggle, but with the amazing movement and survivability of this class, we managed to make it through with all 5 lives and our door. This was looking good. P3, however, had different plans. We got a couple of good bursts off, but we ended up dying 3 times very close to each other. Things were starting to take a turn for the worse, but we pushed on. With 5 minutes left on the clock and only 14% left, we ended up dying again, bringing us down to 1 life. With nothing left to lose, we took a breath and locked in. And in the end, we got the clear. With a sigh of relief, I fell back into my chair and cheered. We had done it. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything useful from the box, but that didn't matter one bit. Riding the high of the clear, we went and grinded the rest of the day away. The next day was Sunny Sunday, which meant that we had a 30% off Star Force event. So we grabbed ourselves a Superior Gollix ring and headed to the guild castle to wait for reset. Once reset hit, we start our ring to 17 stars. And tried to fodder our reinforced earrings from just 18 stars. However, unfortunately, they never made it and boomed from 15 to 16. Probably should have safeguarded, dude. So, with what money we had left, we went to cube the ring, which we got to legendary and landed at 21%, which is perfect for now. Not a massive event, but 30% shouldn't really ever be, so we'll take the gains. Back to the grind. At this point we were stuck in Burning Cernium, as that was the only place at the time that had FAMs. In the process of FAM farming though, we did end up hitting level 267. And with the FAMs we had collected, we managed to get a couple more uniques. Hitting nothing on the first and landing, you guessed it, another large party heal. Next, with all the gains we had gotten, we decided to run another culvert to see if we could beat our PB. We ended up scoring a 26-36, which is a huge jump from last time. At this point, I was hard focused on FAM farming, spending a little over a week pretty much just farming. We ended up hitting level 268 and collecting a whole bunch more FAMs. At this point, we were sitting on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 8 large party heals. It is crazy how many of these things we've gotten so far, but we push on, looking for those elusive boss FAMs. We got one more card to unique and ended up hitting a 10% drop line, which I didn't even know was a thing at the time. We checked our stat window and found out that this 10% counted towards our equip cap, and with us not having max drop gear, was actually usable for the time being. Unfortunately though, once we max our drop gear, this will become useless, but gains is gains, baby. We'll take that. The next day just happened to be my birthday. So we were doing a little Wapathon over on Twitch, which you should definitely come check out. It's a great time over there. But if you're wondering what the thing at the top right is, that's what it is. Anyway, me and one of the lads were running through our bosses, and we were duoing Chaos Gloom. And Gloom decided to drop me a little birthday present. We got a black jade ring box and opened it hoping for something juicy. And we hit a Cont 3. This will be huge for our bossing and will make a fantastic addition to our kit, as Continuous Ring is Zero's best in-slot Oz ring. Next, I shamelessly bought myself a little present, and we opened a few more Kapoo boxes as the event was coming to a close. We hit a few really nice pieces, and decided to put together a new look for our characters. At this point, I really wanted to get to 270, and I really wanted to get more fans while we were at it, so we got back to the grind, hitting level 269 in the process. We took a quick break to level up our first mastery. And while we're at it, let's take a look at our Hexa progression so far. We've got our 2 masteries at level 14 and 10, we've got all of our enhancement cores unlocked, and we've even got Soul Janus to level 2. Things are looking really good so far. And after that little break, we got back to the grind. We pushed well into 269, and at this point, I had just finished a WAP, and I decided to do a, stream doesn't end until I hit 270 type of thing over on Twitch. Thinking I had at least 1 or 2 more WAPs to go, I grabbed the EXP vouchers I had been saving up from the events and used them to get a little boot. Oh. Well, I guess that works. Surprisingly, we ended up hitting level 270 just from the vouchers alone. And of course, as is tradition, we skipped the prequests and finally made it to Odium. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this far. This episode was a lot of fun to put together, and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you tell YouTube I did a good job by clicking that like button. It's been so amazing to see all of the love and support you guys have shown for my content. We've already well past 500 subscribers, which is crazy. I never thought that I would get this far, so thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you guys sticking around through my whack-ass upload schedule. I promise though, I've got lots of cool ideas coming up, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of those. And if you want to see these episodes recorded live, come hang out over at twitch.tv/LaSqueech. I'm live every Wednesday through Sunday, and it's a good time over there. Come check it out. But with all that said, that's it for me, guys. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!